Hi everyone, it is a gorgeous Friday afternoon. Okay, I cannot do that if a bus is farting behind me. Hi everyone, it is a gorgeous October Friday night here in Chicago. I'm about to get on the Blue Line. I'm Tom, by the way, and you're watching the newest Trains Are Awesome video. Thank you for that. And we're gonna get on the Blue Line to transfer to the South Shore Line. The South Shore Line is the electric interurban train between Chicago and South Bend. Oh, that took forever. Between Chicago and South Bend, Indiana, via Gary and Michigan City. It's a very popular train among rail fans. I've been on it many times, but I actually have not been on it for a long time. So we're gonna ride it today. One thing about the South Shore Line, though, is that from 2022 until hopefully spring of 2023, the trains are not going to be running all the way to Michigan City. They're going to be running until Gary, Indiana, and then there will be Bustitution. Wait, Bustitution? What on earth is that? Basically, it's sort of a made-up word combining bus and substitution. It's when part or all of a regular train route is replaced by bus service, due to a variety of reasons. Bus replacement service can be sudden and short-lived, in case of an incident on a train line. However, it can also be planned and longer term, like if a line is closed for construction or due to a natural disaster. In the case of the South Shore Line today, the Bustitution has been ongoing for months as part of a construction project.
Doors open on the left at Washington. Transfer to Red Line trains at Washington.
Washington Station, probably the best station on the Blue Line to get to Millennium Station, which is where the South Shore Line leaves from. I just walked about 4 blocks down Randolph Street, and now we're at Millennium Station, one of the entrances to the station, which is underground. Formerly used to be called Randolph Street Terminal, because, you know, this is Randolph Street. But Millennium Park is right there with the famous Cloud Gate, aka the Bean. So that's why it's called Millennium Station now. Lindsay is waiting for me in the station, so I'm gonna go meet her, and then our train leaves in about 25 minutes, so we made good time. Millennium Station has to be the grossest out of the 4 downtown commuter rail stations. And it's weird, honestly, because the most recent refurbishment was only about 2 decades ago. Maybe if I spent my time exclusively underground, I'd look this bad too. Millennium Station, featuring the world's last remaining Sbarro. In anticipation of commenters not getting the joke, I obviously realize there are more Sbarros out there. But remember when they were like everywhere? Millennium Station serves as the terminal for both our train, the South Shore Line, but primarily also for the Metra Electric Line. Hello.
Hello.
Metra and South Shore trains run from different platforms and have different concourses. Both have staff ticket counters as well as ticket machines. The South Shore ticket machines require you to punch in the number of your destination. Where do you find the numbers? Right at the top on this sign. A ticket to Carroll Avenue in Michigan City costs $10.25, a pretty fair deal for the distance. Lindsay and I used to take this train a lot when we lived in Michigan, the state that is. How long has it been since we've taken the South Shore Line?
I think almost a year since we went. We went for the Christmas train last year.
Oh yeah, it was in December last year. Well, the train's waiting right over there, so let's go. Uh-oh, what does that sign say? Before I get to that, let's talk briefly about these trains. Though they look unassuming, these South Shore Line trains are actually some of the most unique trains in the US. These cars are built by Nippon Sharyo, a Japanese company. They are electric trains, making them one of the few that exist outside of the Northeast Corridor in the United States. The South Shore Line itself is one of the last remaining interurbans in the United States. Interurbans were once a staple in the American landscape, so it's cool to ride on a piece of history even if the trains themselves are much newer. Not that you'd really be able to tell with a boring design like this. These are fine, yeah. Beige and turquoise, my favorite color combination. But I miss these. It feels like reuniting with an old friend. The seat cushions have definitely seen better days. Legroom is also pretty tight on these trains. I mean, there's a reason why the price tag is lower than Amtrak's. Our bags have nothing to complain about though. They have plenty of space. Quick check of the toilets on board. Now we're headed out to everyone's most favorite destination ever, Northern Indiana. Oh, wait, we're stopping. Oh, I guess that's why. Welcome to Millennium Station, Metro Electric train. The South Shore Line began operation in 1908. In 1912, the line was connected to the Illinois Central Line so trains could enter Chicago. South Shore trains were electric from the get-go, but when trains reached Kensington, they were coupled to the Illinois Central steam locomotives and hauled to Chicago. By 1926, South Shore Line trains were able to use the Illinois Central's electrified commuter line into the Randolph Street Terminal. Remember, that's the old name for Millennium. Passenger trains began to be subsidized by the Indiana state government in 1977, and the state took over all passenger operations in 1989. Freight trains continued to be run by the private Chicago and South Shore Railroad, while passenger trains are now run by the Northern Indiana Commuter Transit District. The Illinois Central Commuter Line is now the Metro Electric Line, and South Shore Line trains continue to run and make select stops on this line from Millennium Station until 115th Kensington Station.
Once again, passengers, if I could please have your attention. For those of you that are confused or don't understand, we are doing construction on the railroad. Between Gary and Michigan City, the tracks are closed. We have to bus you around the construction to continue on to South Bend. Everyone will have to exit the train at the next stop, catch the bus. We'll bus you to Michigan City to get back onto the trains for South Bend. Once again, the next stop will be our final stop. Please make sure that you check your surroundings and gather up all personal items.
Conductors, take trash out of the trash can.
So aside from the fact that we literally got dropped off in Gary, the walk to the bus was fairly smooth. We just had to follow this long hallway, and I have to say, Gary Station was not as dreadful as I pictured it would be. Yeah, I'll put the bag underneath. Oh, nice. We got some seats toward the front of the bus. The very front row, however, was reserved for train conductors who were coming along to Michigan City. Shall we do a full seat review? The seats came equipped with the basics: footrests, cup holders, and some recline. At this point in the evening, the dimmed lights were also nice. Now, if only there was a way to mute the sound on the bus, so we wouldn't have to hear the person behind us barfing. So why are we on buses instead of trains? For what problem is Bustitution the solution? Well, there are a number of construction projects happening on the South Shore Line. The first, which doesn't really affect us today, is the new branch line to Dyer, which branches off at Hammond. This line will open in 2025, along with a new station at Hammond. And then there's the modernization work happening between Gary and Michigan City. Part of this line was still single track, and now they are double tracking most of it. The South Shore line was famous for its street running through Michigan City, including 11th Street Station, which was just a city sidewalk basically. This is all being removed, and on May 1st, 2021, they closed the 11th Street Station. We were actually on the last westbound train departing from that station that day. In February 2022, service was suspended on the section that was being modernized completely. This meant that there would be no more street running, as the alignment through Michigan City is being moved off the street and being double-tracked. Ultimately, a new 11th Street Station will open. In the meantime, according to their website, the South Shore line was operating 2 separate bus replacement services. There was the Express, which ran nonstop between Dune Park and Carroll Avenue, and then there was a special loop that served Beverly Shores and 11th Street. This setup was chosen to limit extra travel time for the most passengers. In reality, it would turn out the buses did not run according to these patterns. For starters, we didn't get to ride the train all the way to Dune Park. Now, I'm not complaining about the Bustitution in itself. I think the South Shore Line modernization is a great thing, a glimmer of hope in what can be a bleak world of American passenger rail. I'll gladly ride a bus for a little bit to make it happen. But the communication here was terrible. Our driver made some stops and passed others along the way. The conductors had no idea which bus would stop where. We were lucky that we were riding until the final stop of the bus. I have no idea how long some of the people had to wait for buses to some of the intermediate stations. All of this would be easily forgiven if there was some sort of emergency and this was a one-time thing to get stranded passengers home. But the post announcing the bus replacement service was posted on February 22nd, and we rode the line in late October. That's a solid 8 months of doing this. You think there would be less confused staff and passengers by now. Lindsay rode the same service again in November, and the situation was still all the same. After a bumpy and twisty ride, we made it to Carroll Avenue Station in Michigan City, where our ride was waiting to pick us up. They have a little 2-car Highliner set going to Hudson Lake and South Bend. I'm jealous because I've wanted to ride one of those for the past 4 years, even if they are pretty much identical to the Metro Electric sets. In conclusion, the South Shore Line remains one of my favorite railroads because of its many interesting features and its almost surprising success. I'm excited to come back and marvel at the new infrastructure once it's completed, but I would encourage management to re-examine their bus service for the time being. The transfer and extra time are enough of a hassle. Making sure information is up to date and well known among staff should be a priority. Thanks so much for watching. If you like train-themed content, please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome. You can also follow us on Instagram. We'll see you next time.